And welcome back, everybody, to another live hangout here on Friday night, baby. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We got David Stegosaurus in the chat. I see you, my man. What's going on, dude? How you doing? How you doing? Let's go. All right, man. Let's go. Friday night, baby. How you doing? I'm a little late today. I had to push it back to 8 p.m. just because, yeah, there was a lot going on today. It's the week. This week has been just wild, 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 and it continues. So, but yeah, we are here, man. We're hanging out. The schedule was released yesterday. Obviously, if you were here for that, we were live for quite a bit, man. I think it was a little over 2.5 hours that we were live for. So good chat. Um, yeah, I was able to kind of dive into the NFL schedule overall, and we got some good games going on, man. Got some really really good games. Don't worry, we'll get to it. I'm just gonna let everybody kind of roll in here just a little bit. But let's go. Yeah, man. Let me know right off the bat, man. What did you think of the NFL schedule? Let me know. I know David, Kansas City fan, Green Bay fan as well. Let me know. Yeah, there's gonna be a decent amount of, especially early on. There's gonna be some decent revenge games in a sense, or at least some games that are gonna be a little might be a little testy. Let's go. Trash can, brother. The Chargers did us dirty in their schedule release. I did see that. That's also what I watched too. I did watch all 32 of the schedule releases. Some shorter, some very very long. There was a couple. I would say there's maybe one or two that were longer than 3 minutes that should not have been. There's like two of them that were good. The rest of them definitely should have been like 2 minutes at the most. Yeah, those 6, 7 minute ones, I was like, what are we doing here, man? I was like, my attention span. I know all of our attention spans have been kind of going downhill, but my gosh, come on. They called out the Cam Newton and Keon Coleman moment, bro. Unbelievable, unbelievable. I gotta give it to the Chargers, man. They are the well, it's been going on for like what 6, 7 years now at this point. I think they started doing it around 2017, 2018. I gotta give it to the Chargers, man. They are not afraid to throw stones, and you know what, man? I can dig it, man. Why not? Talk some trash. Let's go. Denver's was dumb. I didn't even finish it. What? You don't wanna see Peyton Manning and his daughter just sitting on a couch? Yeah, I will give my grades, at least to some of them. If you want me to do all 32, I can. I got the list right here of what I thought, but I was only gonna probably do like maybe like the top 10 or 10, the ones I really had like a strong opinion on. But let me know in the chat if you want me to do all 32. I'll give you my grades, baby. I'll give you my grades. What was our schedule release video, bro? Take it down, please, Buffalo. Yeah, I don't know, man. Don't get me wrong. I love a barbershop quartet. I'll tell you that right now, man. I get those guys going. I'm moving. But I just don't know the chrysalis. Yeah, the butterfly thing. I don't know. It was a little weird. I I feel like they were trying to go for like what was that movie that came out like a year or two ago? The Substance. Like that, like once they got to the barbershop quartet with like the chrysalis in the center, and it was like kind of gross. That's what it reminded me of because of the lighting as well. Like was like very like I don't know. To me, I think they were trying to go for like a substance type of vibe to it. I didn't get it. Didn't hit. It just didn't hit. Um, but I mean, at least it was weird. I'll give them that. Like, it wasn't. Oh God, I'll save that for a little bit later. I have a strong opinion on that one. Um, the Jets painting the paint mixing thing. Don't get me wrong. I like that because I'm like it's like a almost like a it's one of those videos where it's like ultra satisfying. I'm like, ooh, kind of cool. But it was boring as crap, man. After about the fifth, mixing color thing, I was like, oh crap. I was like, we got like another nine of these to go. But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know. I think the Bills they tried something crazy, something weird, and it didn't hit. So it happens. Like I said, at least they took a chance. At least they took a chance, I guess. It was so stupid. Oh man, I don't know, man. I like the barbershop quartet part. I was digging it. Like it made like it had a good beat to it. And it was like I don't know. I don't know. I like the barbershop quartet, but the whole beginning, like the meeting part where they're trying to figure out like that. Honestly, if you would have chopped that off and gotten rid of the weird, gross chrysalis thing in the center, honestly, you could have just released the barbershop quartet cut, and I would have been fine with it. I would have been like, all right, it's a little safe, but hey, it's all good. It's all good. Let me see here. Yeah, I did like the QV Chiefs one. That was pretty nice. The Chiefs one was pretty interesting. It was a little. It was one of the longer ones, but I think it was one of the longer ones that did well because I think it was like 6 or 7 minutes. I was a little bit afraid because by that point, I think some of the longer ones that I was watching were not my favorite. They were kind of losing me. There, I was losing interest in a lot of them. And when I saw the Chiefs had like a 6 or 7 minute one, I was like, oh man. But Rob Riggle and I forgot her name. She's a really funny comedian, very very funny. I think she was actually better than Riggle in that sketch or in that schedule release video. I think she was the best part of it. But they were really good. They bounced well off of each other. I thought it was funny and it kind of kept me entertained. And like on top of that, and this is what I would have wanted from some of the longer ones, they kept it in order, if that makes sense. They kept it in order week one all the way down to week 17, stuff like that. Like if you're gonna jump around, you gotta go like with a theme, you know. So that was my big thing. Ours doesn't even deserve to be ranked. It was disgustingly awful. Oh boy. But hey, look at it this way. Look at it this way. The ugly parts of the Bill season could be in the off season. All right? It could be happening early. By the time you get to the regular season and the postseason, hey, you've worked out the kinks. All the bad stuff, out of here. Out of here. So, at least you're getting that stuff out of the way first. You might say the Bills one went wide right of the target. I think it did. I think it did. I think it went so wide right it ended up being on the left. Yeah, that was a wild one. Yeah, I guess since we're already into it, uh, I'm gonna say my least favorite one right off the bat. Man, this one was ugly, ugly. One of the worst things I've seen, dude. Like, I had to watch it twice because the first time I was like, what the heck is going on here? I was just letting the video wash over me because I was trying to figure out what the hell I was watching. And that's just how bad it is. I just cussed, barely, I know. But I was like, Jesus. The Cardinals won. Uh, it was like a weird, um, like AI Zoom meeting of mascots, and like half of the mascots were, I'm pretty sure were AI. I'm pretty sure because they just had like an uncanny valley to them. Most of them actually, it was just kind of creepy and weird. But on top of that, it was just like you were seeing this stuff on the screen, but then on the side they were like chatting against each other. They were like bickering, but like it was just like so you had to pay attention to this, but then you also had to pay attention all the way to the left side to see who was fighting amongst each other because it was like it wasn't just the same like four or five mascots. It was like teams that don't really have mascots, but they made one for this, and it's just like it was just gross, man. It was just a gross looking thing, and it was even worsely executed somehow. Like the Cardinals, like that one, dude. That one should be buried. That one should be burned, buried, and then just drop a bomb in there as well, just to make sure. Like that, it should be zoned off. That should be Chernobyl. Whatever wherever you whatever land you bury that freaking thing in, that thing should not be. Nobody should be going into that zone for the next 25, 30 years. That was disgusting. Not nice, David. Flashback. Not again, please. No. It's all right, man. We all have our. We all have our. You know. They have wide right. The Packers have the 2014 NFC Championship game. Brandon Bostic. Thank you. Thank you. The Chiefs have Joe Burrow. Sorry, David. I had to bring it up, man. It's only fair. It's only fair. But yeah, no, that Cardinals one was just terrible, man. If you do want to watch it, I recommend that you just look at it just cuz like just for a second, just like once you see the first 10 seconds, you know what the rest of it's going to be. You don't need to finish it, but just so you know what I'm talking about, just the visceral feeling that I had, watch like the first 10 seconds and then just turn it off. Terrible. Terrible. Absolute garbage. That is a straight up F for the Cardinals. Um, the one that I did like, just because it was it was local, it was very much a local thing. But then on top of that, it was trash talking, and I like the Saints one. It was like a weather report about the teams that they were going up against, and it was good. It was good, man. It was like I think I'm pretty sure it was like local reporters from that like from the Louisiana, New Orleans area and they were just trash talking. I loved it. It was awesome. I hope your stadium gets legally named to Burrowhead, David. Be nice. Be nice. Everybody be nice. All right? This is what they want. They want us fighting. Don't let them win. All right. That'd be the closest he will get to a Super Bowl. Oh snap! You might be right, man. You might be right. The Bengals are they are in disarray. They might actually have a decent defense this time. I mean it's tough to be that bad again. But I don't know. Could be. Could be. Let me see here. But what was another one that was pretty solid? I like the Steelers one, the Yinzer's kind of language. It was kind of like a little bit of a a walk through the facilities. I like that. I like when they introduce a little bit of like the culture of the area or the culture of the team. So anytime you're kind of going into the Pittsburghese language there. It's fun. It was fun. That was really good. I like the putting a lawn chair to reserve your parking spot. That was hilarious. I like that Mike McCarthy was in there too, man. You can tell Big Mike is having a good time over there in Pittsburgh, man. Like I said, I was happy for him. I was happy that he got hired there, and it's he seems like he's enjoying his time there back home. So yeah, that was another one that was solid. It was a little bit longer. Didn't always hit, but I think the for the most part the jokes were solid, and they kind of they built it up to the schedule, and it was pretty solid, man. I liked it. Nice little skit. I'm watching the T Wolves versus Spurs game when it comes on. I don't know how to feel about it. Wemby is not human. Yeah, Wembyana, man, he's a different kind of human being, man. He is wild. Like I thought Giannis was a freak. Granted, he obviously Giannis as he got older, he became a little bit more. He was very raw when he came into the league. But Wembanyama, man, just his size, dude. It's like watching Kareem play like in the '70s, man. He's just so much like Walt Chamberlain. They're just so much bigger than the rest of everybody else, which is saying a lot because the NBA is just full of massive human beings, crazy athletes with crazy height, and Wembanyama is yeah, go Spurs, yeah, man. That reminds me, yeah. Hold on. Oh, but I did. Speaking of that, I should say it now. The Packers one, man. Robot Chicken, dude. That was really awesome. That was really cool. Going to old school with the release on that one. Kind of claymation, the whole thing, man. That was pretty cool. I liked it. I'm a Knicks/Celtics fan, hoping for Knicks to win it all now. Spurs are a team I enjoy watching, but the Wolves won't have anything for, so I'm guessing. All right, that's fair. Yeah, like I'm very similar in that respect too. Like, if my team is out of it, I'm always going to go for a franchise that hasn't won one, or stuff like that. Just because you got to change it up, man. You got to change it up. Like the last thing I want to see is the Patriots or the Broncos or I'm trying to think of another franchise that's won quite a bit recently. Um, the Giants. I've ever seen them win too many titles, especially when they beat the Packers beforehand. So I like that they got Grassi in the pack. Yeah, dude, it was yeah, mother loving that freaking dude, man. I'm very happy for Tom, dude. He seems like he's living the dream, man. He's living his dream. Everything that he's worked a lot. He's worked hard, man. He's put in the time, for sure. And I'm happy he got a chance to be part of that too, man. He's a good representative for the pack, man. But yeah, that was hilarious though, man. I'll say this: some of the Packer guys, I think Tuck was by far the best of the four guys when it comes to voice acting. Jordan Love was the second one, close second there. Micah, I like his energy. Needs to work on his timing a little bit. But Josh Jacobs, man, Josh disappointed me, man. He needs some work with his voice acting, just a little bit, just a little bit. Clay Matthews there, a little cameo by by Clay there at the end was hilarious. Um, yeah, Clay. Honestly, he's a guy that you can tell he could have like a decent, little decent career as like a voice actor because he's very expressive with his the way he talks. But yeah, it was cool, man. It was cool to see Tom doing that too. Let me Let's see, what was the other one? God, I hate to admit it, man. I did slightly like the Bears one. That was the Bob Ross Odunze kind of one. That one was solid. The only thing that did not work for me, this is like a criticism of like just like as a person that likes jokes and likes trash talk. The joke of the Packers, like him just kind of getting a cheese grater and just putting it on the. I was like, you didn't like you put the lion you painted a lion for the Lions. You painted a Viking boat for the Vikings. Things like that. You painted all these other things to represent other like the teams that you're going up against, but you couldn't get the Packers in the painting. And and I when I was thinking, I was like, we're still very much like the Bears of Baltimore. They can't even mention us. They can't even mention us because they're afraid that we're gonna appear. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. To me, the cheese grater joke didn't land. Like if you would have came out with like some cheese and put it on the painting, I think that would have been good. I think that would have been hilarious, and I would have enjoyed it. But him just kind of grading the painting, and it was like a bush too. It's like on the edge. I don't know. To me, I was like, come on, guys. I was like, but I got to realize it's the Bears. They're not really used to trash talking. To be able to trash talk, you actually have to be good for a while. So I think that was part of it. I think that was part of it. So at least they're trying, but they're not very. They're succeeding about as much as they've succeeded in getting to a Super Bowl. All right, let me see here. What was another one here? Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about this. Don't worry, we'll get back to the the release videos as well. Um, but I did want to bring this up here. Bam! Look at that. So that is going to be the Packers official schedule there. So that way we can get a good look at it. Here you go. Here you go. And I like what they were able to. I do like this schedule for the Pack because it gives them some early adversity, especially playing on the road for 3 out of the first 4 games. Hold up. There we go. So yeah, Vikings, Jets, Falcons, and Tampa Bay, man. So the Vikings, it's going to be interesting. Who's going to be the starter? I believe it's going to be Kyler Murray. I hope Gannon has a plan for a guy that mobile who can still chuck the ball deep down the field. Whether it's accurate is a whole other thing, or it's going to be a lack of timing. But typically, especially with veteran quarterbacks, I feel like they tend to start out well their first couple games with their new team, and then by the third or fourth game is when you start to see some of the cracks that develop. Some of the good teams, some of the good players, they will be able to get past that, and then that weird upswing with a downswing, and then they kind of level out, um, and be a little bit more consistent. It's not as high of an up or down. So I'm hoping that is not the case. I hope it starts out rough for the Vikings and continues to be rough for them throughout the season. Um, but then we get the Jets. Who knows who's going to be the starting quarterback there? Uh, Klubnik could be the starter there, or it can be one of the veterans that they signed. But hopefully that's a win for the Pack. Falcons in Tampa Bay. The AFC South has always been a weird division for the Packers to play against. The Falcons, they especially lately, the Packers have been able to have their number. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I mentioned it before, they are a franchise that always seems to kind of be able to win more times than not against Green Bay, especially in the regular season. Then we got obviously probably the most anticipated of the first half of the Packers schedule, the first matchup between the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. And that's going to be in Chicago, so it's going to be this. This is one of my top games, one of my top 10, top 12 games for the NFL season. It's obviously a rematch of the wild card game that unfortunately Green Bay absolutely just fell apart in the second half. So we'll see where the Packers and the Bears are against each other here. It's going to be a good test for both of these teams. Next, Cowboys. It's going to be a good one. The Packers usually are able to handle Jerry and his boys. Hopefully, Micah is healthy for this game. So that way we can get a definitive winner, unlike last year. Lions, Carolina, Patriots, and the Vikings. That's a rough three stretch. And then we get the Vikings again, once again finishing that rivalry early in the season. I think the NFL is kind of making a point of like, yeah, we're not going to wait for the Vikings. We're not going to put them near the end here. We're going to try to get rid of these games right away. Then we get the bye, and then it's going to be a long stretch against some really, really tough defenses for the Packers, man. Starting with the Rams, that's going to be the Thanksgiving Eve game that the NFL is going to be going with. That's going to be a Wednesday. And then Saints, Bills, Dolphins, tough stretch right there. The Miami game may not be as tough. Obviously, it's going to be in December in Lambeau Field. That could be a really rough one for Miami. And then the Packers are going to be able to finish off with going to Chicago. With this one, I think, and then finishing off with two home games there against the Texans and the Lions. So it should be a good little stretch there for the Pack. I think the Bills in the Miami game, Texans, and the Lions game are all going to be at home, so going to be nice. All right, let's get to another segment here. All right. So one of my top early games for the season is going to be the where are we? Sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. All right. So the Patriots and the Seahawks, obviously a rematch of Super Bowl 65. I think that should be a good one. I'm going to be interested to see what the Patriots have been able to build with their offensive line that was absolutely just I mean, that entire offense was just dominated by a great elite Seahawks defense, man. That secondary was suffocating, and that front seven was just able to get to a young quarterback almost every single freaking down. So, obviously, a rematch of a Super Bowl is always going to be a highly anticipated game, but the fact that it's going to be able to kick off the 2026 season is going to be there's going to be more eyes on that than probably usual, and on top of that, I mean, the 2025 season ended with these two teams, and the 2026 season is going to begin with these teams. So that's a little bookend right there. All right, my next game here that I kind of circled a little bit once the Raiders drafted Mendoza. It's going to be I believe week 3. It'll be Raiders versus the Saints. Man, these are two franchises that are kind of transitioning into a kind of a new era with their young quarterbacks. They've been able to build a little bit around them. Obviously, with Shaw, he's been there now, entering his second season, so they've been able to build him. But the Raiders, they clearly were building for the future. Even last year, they were anticipating getting a young quarterback this season. I don't think they obviously envisioned Mendoza being that guy, but they were clearly not going to be rolling with okay with rolling with a quarterback in 2025 in the draft. So they were like, hey, let's make sure that we have the offensive pieces around him when we do pick him in 2026. Obviously, they drafted a running back, a couple of receivers, some free agent receivers, and some offensive linemen there. And then this past season in the draft, built heavily on the defense while getting their guy with the first overall pick. I think they wanted it out of the way for the Vrabel situation. Hmm. Very true. Very true. Yeah, and I feel like that thing hopefully is dying down a little bit. But like I said, it's gonna be this is gonna be one of those things that's gonna take a while. Anytime you start talking about like jobs and stuff like that, it's usually litigation. Usually, it's gonna take a little bit. Yeah, yeah. With the Mike Vrabel stuff, it's it's very very weird. Sorry, I'm watching the Pistons game right now, and one of their players just got absolutely rocked while he was sitting on the bench. It's like Jesus. But yeah, um, that Rabel situation, man, is such a weird freaking thing. See here, what is another game that I was looking at? Come on, where are you? So yeah, we already talked about Chicago, Green Bay, Week 5. Man, that's going to be one of the more highly anticipated matchups. And then the other one that I was thinking about as well was going to be the Commanders versus 49ers. I think that's week 6. It's going to be the Monday night game. That one is going to be so going up against Brock Purdy, that offense with that slightly revamped Commanders defense. They got a little bit younger, they got a little bit faster. That's going to be a good test, man, for that defense because Shanahan, he throws a lot at you, man. They drafted a lot of guys this season, the 49ers did, because they needed volume, man. They needed bodies. Their practice facility is slowly eating away at human bodies. Apparently, like I don't know what the heck is going on over there in the vicinity of that stadium or that practice field, but they are slowly withering away over there. So they needed some extra bodies. But Kyle Shanahan, man, he seems to be able to when they have like a little bit of just a little. I don't even want to call it a down year, but when they have a year like they did, where it seems like it's such a struggle for them to be able to uh, just keep guys on the field. They tend to have a bounce back season, and they tend to be like it's they tend to have a even stronger year than they did the previous year with that. And it's gonna be fun to see, and especially with the Commanders, because I think they are gonna have a bounce back year as well. That offense is gonna be healthy. They're no longer relying on guys that are averaging like 32 years old. They got a lot younger, and in my opinion, they got more talented as well. So that should be one of my favorite Monday night matchups early in the season. So I'm hoping at least. All right, all right. Now we're getting to the part of the schedule here where there's going to be a lot of international games. So I'm actually going to bring this bad boy up. Seastrom. Good morning, man. How you doing? How you doing? So I'm gonna bring this bad boy up here. So yeah, these are gonna be all the international games that we're gonna be having a chance to experience this season, man. Obviously, the first game in Australia, that's gonna be Week 1, San Francisco, LA. Should be pretty interesting. Should be pretty interesting. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure what stadium they're going to be. Let me see here. Melbourne Cricket Grounds there. So it's going to be the first game where technically the game is going to be played on a different day than it'll be broadcasting. Broadcasted, I should say, because over there in Australia it'll be September 11th, but when we are watching that game live, it'll actually be September 10th in the U.S. So pretty cool, pretty wild, and I hope it's a success, man. I know there's a like a good dedicated fan base in Australia, man, because you see a lot of NFL, you see a lot of YouTubers from Australia that do watch. I don't know if they stream like the games or if they do play by play, but I know they do make like football content in some sense. So it's kind of cool that those guys are getting a chance to be able to watch a game in their country, in their stadium, and hopefully the NFL does Australia justice, man. Doing well. Hope you're doing well as too. Absolutely, man. Oh heck yeah, dude. Heck yes. It's a Friday, man. I'm hanging out here, live streaming with you guys, man. It's always going to be a good time. Plus, I'm watching a little bit of basketball here in the background. Looks like there's about 63 seconds in this Pistons Cavaliers game. The Pistons are up by 22. It looks like they're going to tie the series and force a game 7 in the Eastern semis here. Spoilers, if I don't know if anybody was waiting on that one. Sorry. But yeah, man. So yeah, a week 1 Australia game. Then you're gonna go all the way to week 3, and that'll be in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. There'll be the Cowboys and the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, the Cowboys have a big following in South America, and even in some of the southern parts of North America, Mexico, things like that. I think the only other team that could rival them in terms of their popularity around that area is probably I'm speaking more of like Mexico, I guess, at this point, but San Francisco. But we learned Brazil has like a pretty decent Packer fan base, as we saw a couple of years ago when Green Bay went down there. So that was pretty cool. Very similar colors, obviously green and a little bit of yellow there. The Brazilian national team has the same color scheme, kind of colors as Green Bay. A little bit of different shade of green, but similar. So yeah, so we're gonna see Lamar and Dak probably take on each other and over there in Brazil. So that should be a pretty good one. Hopefully, it's another one where Brazil is going to be able to be represented well. So, and then obviously you get the London games. Weirdly enough, I feel like London has gotten less games than they did even like 4 or 5 years ago. I feel like they were playing more than 3 games a couple years ago, but I think the NFL is expanding to other countries, other places, especially the last 2 or 3 years. And speaking of that, outside of the Jaguars, playing multiple games there, going all the way to week 7, man, Pittsburgh and the Saints playing, I believe, the first game in Paris, right? Unless I'm crazy here. But that one hopefully should be pretty interesting. We'll see if Old Man Rogers can make it all the way to Petty, all in one piece, man. Sometimes that ayahuasca kind of hits hard once you get once you touch down a little bit. Gross, Paris. How about if it's Paris, Texas? You know, I've heard they got great restaurants in Paris, Texas, man. I'm just saying. And it is the first game in Paris. All right, just want to make sure. I was like, I know they did one in Madrid in 2025, but I was like, did they do one in Paris? I was like, no. All right. So yeah, first game in Melbourne, as they like to say over there locally, and then Paris, first game there as well. So that should be pretty cool. Then we're 2 weeks later, the Bengals and the Falcons are taking each other on over there in Spain in Madrid. Yeah, I'm trying to find like a theme because I know the Jags were owned or are still owned by the Khans, who kind of like they lived in that London, England area for a little bit. That's kind of where I feel like they made most of their money. So I understood the connection there. I understood the connection with Mexico, with San Francisco, with the Texans, like the Los Tejanos, as they call them, and the 49ers always have had a big connection with Latino, like like culture. Like if you go to California, especially the southern parts of California, you're gonna see either the Raiders or the San Francisco 49ers. You're rarely gonna see any other team, NFL team, be represented more for in the Latino community. So, but I'm just kind of curious of like Why the Bengals? Why the Falcons in Madrid? Why the Steelers? Why the? I get the Saints because it's like there's I guess there's a little bit of a connection there to the to the French ish quarters there in Louisiana, but yeah, I'm not really sure what the connection is with Bengals and Falcons, but and then week 10, Munich, Germany. I believe that's going to be the second or third game in Germany. So the Patriots and the Detroit Lions. I feel like we're giving Madrid and London some relatively low stakes games when it comes to like really good teams. But then Munich gets the AFC champions and the Detroit Lions, who play some have played some really good football over the last 3 or 4 years. So yeah, and then finally Mexico City in week 11. That'll be the final international game. I love it. Estadio. It's not going to be the Estadio Azteca. It's going to be Estadio Ban Norte, which I don't know where that is actually. Let me look that up. Oh, oh, it's Estadio Azteca. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, they just okay. It's God, that's like changing Lambeau Field, man. So yeah, Ban Norte is just the company name. They get the naming rights to Estadio Azteca. Okay, gotcha. That's why. I don't like that. I don't like that. That's like when they changed Miller Park to AmFam Field. It's like, yeah, you could put AmFam Field on the stadium, but it's everybody calls it Miller Park. You can call it Estadio Ban Norte. It's Estadio Azteca, man. Nobody's gonna be calling it that. Gotcha. All right. That's why I was confused. I was like, I have never heard of this stadium. I was like, where the hell is this? All right. So yeah, it looks like the Cavs won, so they're gonna force a game 7 against the Pistons here. And now the Western semis is started here. It looks like the Spurs have a 3-2 lead in the series. I will just call it La Biblioteca. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Go Spurs, go Spurs. Yeah, man. So far, the Spurs are the only team to score here. We got about, I think there's like 5 possessions so far. I think the Spurs have had the ball 3 times. The Wolves two, and so far the only score is a 3-pointer there. Oh, and he goes around Wembenyana. There you go, man. The Wolves on the board here. 2-5, and then the Spurs answer with a 3, man. It's a 8-2. Anyway, sorry, doing play by play, man. Sorry, it's been such a long time since I've called sports, man. I'm doing it instinctually at this point. Go Spurs, go Spurs. There we go. Yeah, man. I feel like I know it's gonna make me sound like an old man, dude, but the jerseys were so much better in the '90s, man. So much better. The Bucks jerseys were better. The Timberwolves jerseys were better. The Raptors jerseys were significantly better back then, man, dude. So good. The Rockets, early '90s with Charles Barkley, so good. But yeah, so these are the international games. Sorry, I'm getting lost in basketball. But yeah, man, there's gonna be some really good ones. I mean, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games, international games being played. Sorry, not 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. Sorry, I can count. I can count. 9 international games being counted. Um, and the NFL is only going to keep on expanding, man. I would not be surprised if they start doing a few more games, especially in like the northern parts of Europe within the next like 2 or 3 years. But yeah, yeah, Spurs jumping out to a 12-4 lead. Wolves score 12-6, and ooh, a 3 by the Spurs, 15-6, man. Spurs are looking good right now. All right. Do, 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 do. So, I think I talked about this before, but I did want to bring it up one last time. Really cool that they got the actual people that did Robot Chicken, the studio that does Robot Chicken, to be able to do the Packers schedule release. Man, that was really cool. The time consuming art of stop motion is it's an underappreciated art, man. And when it's done well, dude, you gotta show some love for it. Um, I wanted to talk about a few other schedule releases that I really like that I recommend if you haven't gotten a chance to watch them. Luckily, a good chunk of these are like 2 3 minutes at the most. The Titans one was freaking hilarious. It's kind of like a man on the street. Like all he's doing is like going up to like random people on the streets, and like just saying like oh, Jerry Jones, and it's just some old man. It's just like stuff like that, and some of them are like very close to being accurate. Of I think there was like a kid that looks like Mendoza a little bit, kind of like and I mean this as nice as possible, but a little bit nerdy, just a little bit nerdy looking. But then there are some where it's clearly not even close. It's just trolling at this point. So I do recommend that. The Titans one was so simple, very quick, very easy, but very effective, very funny. Gotta give it to him. The Falcons one, man, that is one of the longer ones, but it's a little bit of a parody of like The Office meets. I don't know if you guys remember those like late '90s, early 2000s ESPN. This is ESPN commercials where they're like it's like in the office building and it's just like really weird random things happen, and then it says this is ESPN, stuff like that. So it's a little bit of a parody with that. Um, I think they did a good job. Some of them did not work. I think there's like a total of like 20 plus skits. That's why it's one of the longer ones, and some of them worked more than others. But I thought it was a good effort, good little callback to a popular pre-internet meme, if you will. So, haha, old man Jerry Jones wasn't even from America. Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones. Yeah, what did the guy say? He was from. God, what the heck did he say? Did he say England or no? But yeah, man, that was really funny. I like that one. I like those like man on the streets, like Billy Eichner, like if you answer this question, I'll give you $5 or whatever. And then like somebody's like, what? He's like, no, wrong answer, and just runs away. Doesn't even give them a chance to actually answer the question. It was just I like those kinds of like I don't know if you call it like a segment. I love those, man. Those are always hilarious. Oh, he was from England. There we go. There we go. Good old England. Let me see here. The Browns. I feel like the Browns. I feel like I don't want to say it was the most creative. It was a creative one. I'm just saying like the most. It was by far the one that you could clearly tell had the most post production done without having like either CGI or AI put into it, and it was a Street Fighter CLE Cleveland, and Matt Pat was like the host, like cameoed as like the host of like this like '90s like, hey, I'm gonna be a host and we're gonna go to the arcade to introduce this new version of Street Fighter, and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool, man. You could tell that there was a lot of time and love put into it. Great callbacks, especially if you remember going to like the arcade. I remember in my hometown. Granted, it got shut down like by the time I was like 7 or 8, but I do remember quarters literally having to get like $10 worth of quarters, and you're walking to the arcade, and you sound like you sound like one of Santa Claus's reindeers as you're walking down the sidewalk to go to the arcade. So yeah, that was a really cool callback, man. So I got to give it to the Browns. They may have made a massive financial mistake with the Deshaun Watson contract, but they nailed their schedule release this year. So salute to them. Let me see here. Tampa Bay's one was pretty solid. Tampa Bay Watch. That was a really good one. I think Burt Kreischer was part of it, along with one of the pair of Buccaneer offensive linemen. I thought that was pretty funny. And like all the people that were on the beach or on the shore or in the water like represented the teams that they were going up against. So I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was really funny. So that was pretty cool. Hey, FJ15, what's going on? Hi. How you doing? Welcome. Did you get a chance to watch any of the NFL release videos? Let us know. Let me see here. What was another one? The Panthers one. The Panthers one threw me off because I was like scrolling down and I saw Carolina Panthers schedule release. So I clicked on it and I looked away for like 5 to 7 seconds because I was like, I think I was grabbing something. And then like it just like was in the middle of like them blowing stuff up, and I never saw the Carolina Panther like logo throughout the entire video, and it just kept on having like a logo of like a weird like skull, like an animal skull. And I was like, is this the Texans or is this like the Raiders? Like, because the color scheme was like gray and black,
But I was like, oh, well, I was like the horn skull thing. I was like, that maybe the Texans. I was like, what the hell am I? Whose schedule is this that I'm watching? And I paused it and it came up as Carolina. I was like, the hell is this? I was like, this doesn't make any sense. But yeah, apparently they were just blowing stuff up, which was like cool, I guess. But I was like, kind of boring, kind of repetitive. Um, like I don't know, some of the editing on these schedule releases were freaking terrible, man. Like there's a way that you can create fast editing and make it feel kinetic and like energetic, but some of these were just like borderline disorienting in their editing. It was like it was off putting, and that was one of them. I did not like Carolina's schedule release. Like I get it, cool explosions, I love it, but everything else around it was dog poop, man. It was not good. And like it, I mentioned the Cardinals AI mascot video. That was another one that had terrible editing. That was like, it was like giving me, it was like giving me like a like like coming back from like a like you know when you go to like the baseball games and they get those drunk people to like spin their heads on a baseball on a sorry in a on a bat and then try to like walk a straight line or something like that. Like yeah, that's what it felt like with some of these videos. It was very bad editing. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not a great editor, but I could have done a better job than what some of these guys did. Sorry. Uh, it was not one of my favorites or even one of my least favorites. It was just interesting. The Lions video was literally 30 seconds. It was just a bunch of voiceovers of a bunch of radio people talking about the Lions having a down year, with the video showing Dan Campbell in his office, just printing out the schedule, walking out of his office, posting it, and that's it. So I dubbed that one all business for the Lions. 34 seconds. It was by far, and I mean by far, the shortest one. It was I think it's 34 seconds, and like there's like a 4 second intro, and then like 2 seconds of like dead air. Like it's bare bones, all business. So gotta give it to him. It may not be creative, it may not be sexy, it may not be long or anything, but it's in character. So wouldn't surprise me if a number of them were made with a high percentage of AI. Yeah, yeah. There's a couple other ones that I remember seeing that I'm pretty sure had some type of AI. I think the Seahawks one with the fragrance one. I like the trash talk. Some of it, like some of it was like the script was good for the Seahawks one. I like that creativeness, but there was clearly some AI work with you can see it I think in the first like 10 to 15 seconds. You can clearly see that either that's like very smooth CGI or that's AI. So I don't know. Let me see here. What was another one? The Ravens one. I thought it wasn't really much of a scheduled release, but it was more of like them showing up to basically crashing a Baltimore fan's wedding, which I thought was it was cool, man. I like those ones. Like if you can't come up with like a creative, artistic way to release a video or anything like that, you know what? Give something back to the fans. Screw it. Show up to their wedding. Like the fans were excited, dude. They were absolutely gassed for I think it was Zay Flowers showing up, and then on top of that, everybody at the wedding apparently is gonna get free tickets to a Baltimore game. So that was pretty cool too. So yeah, I heard the Cardinals one was made with AI. If I would be if they come out saying that it wasn't AI, I would be I would be absolutely surprised because that all of it looked like straight up AI. I know they were using that like weird like emoji thing that the that Apple is trying to push. I like as a person that uses Apple products here and there. I don't like their emojis. I think it's just really weird and creepy. I know some of that was that, but then there was definitely 100% some AI stuff in that one. So I know. To me, I just didn't like it. It didn't look good. It was disorienting. It was boring as hell. Yeah, like the entire Cardinals video, none of it worked. Even some of the bad ones that I'm going to talk about had some aspects where like, okay, I can understand the concept. It just wasn't executed well, or at least it had a good script, but maybe the visuals wasn't great, things like that. But yeah, the Cardinals one was 100% from beginning to end, top to bottom, garbage in my opinion. Sorry to anybody that worked on that. I'm sure you. I just hope you got paid. Hope you got paid well. That's all I can say. What was it? The past one was one of the more simpler ones. It was one of the shorter ones too. I think it was like less than 2 minutes. It was just a bunch of Patriots in a roller coaster yelling out the schedule, which was I actually had a decent time with it because as a person that is absolutely terrified of like roller coasters, in a good way. Like I'll go on them, but I'm just like I'm not having a good time. I'm not having a good time. As long as I can get out of here, I will think of it fondly. But I'm not having a good time while I'm doing this. um, but yeah, yeah, it was just a bunch of Patriots players on a roller coaster yelling at the schedule. But it was funny because they were freaking out. So. Let's see here. I think a lot of things are using AI nowadays. Yeah, unfortunately, man. And like the instances where I believe it's best being used or best being allocated has been in medical care, because it allows it's allowed doctors to be able to kind of spend more time with people instead of having to read their charts, had to try to find exactly what's going on and like consolidate the information themselves or try to get it from somebody else. And so I feel like that has been able to speed up some processes, and apparently it's helping out in like being able to create more effective treatment plans as well. So like stuff like that, that's a good thing. That's a good use of AI. But when it's used to create either creative things like painting, movies, scripts, things like that, or simply like replace a person or a job, that's where I think it's an issue because it'd be one thing if there was a solution like okay we can find AI can replace this position, but you still have a person that doesn't have a job, or you have it's a great concept, but AI is just it's not there's a lack of time and care that's put into the art that is that you can feel in my opinion with it. It feels cheap and lazy if you will. It's incredible technology, sure, but there's just something that's lacking. So, but anyway, um, I thought the Dallas one was kind of funny, but I think it went too long. That was another one where I feel like the editing was very frantic, but it wasn't. It didn't. It didn't do the concept justice. It's a great concept. The Tylers, obviously, we've all made fun of the amount of offensive linemen that, or just players in general that have the first name Tyler that play for the Dallas Cowboys. I think it's a funny idea, but I think the fact that it went on for 7 to almost 10 minutes was a little bit too long. I think they could have, if that would have been like a 3-minute video, I think it would have been a lot better. But kudos to the Cowboys embracing the Tyler meme. Oh, the Jags, man, that one. So I'm pretty sure that's a spoiler alert. The Jags the Jags video was just Trevor Lawrence getting a haircut, and the haircut that he went with very much looks like a Karen haircut. I'm pretty sure it's a fake cut. It looked too much like a wig. The fact that he didn't want to touch it too much tells me that it's a straight up wig. And also the hair looked very stiff, like incredibly stiff. So once again, it was a little bit of a. I'm pretty sure it was just trying to go viral, but yeah, I would be very surprised if Trevor Lawrence actually got a haircut, or if he did get a haircut, it wasn't on in that video. I'll tell you that much. The Colts used The Simpsons to release their video. This time they actually did get the rights to use The Simpsons, unlike last year, where they tried to get away with what was it? What the heck is it? Oh my god, dude! I'm sorry. It's a game that I'd never played. It was before my time, man. Not Roblox. Dang it! Oh, there's a movie that came out like a year ago about it. Oh man. Oh boy. So one of you guys will know. One of you guys will tell me. Let me know in the chat. I forgot the movie, but yeah, last year the Colts had to delete their tweet, their video release of their schedule release because they did not have the rights to the characters or the concept that they used. But this time they did. They talked to the owners of the Simpsons and they were able to get the rights to them. So I thought it was solid, little a little safe, but when you mess up that bad the previous year, yeah, you got to go with something that's interesting, but maybe not the most original. So, Minecraft. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, FJ15. I appreciate you. Thank you, Minecraft. Yeah, I've never played Minecraft, so I'm sorry. I did go see the movie with a couple friends. They knew about it. I did not. I still had a good time because I I had a Long Island iced tea while I was watching it, and it was just one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen in my entire life, and I was just laughing at the weirdness of it. So I enjoyed the Colts one. They poked so much fun at themselves. Very true. It was self-deprecating. I got to give them that. I got to give them that. What was it? The England one. They're they're beating Homer up. That was a good one. I like that one. The Raiders one. That was one of those. That was one of the videos where I liked the concept, but the execution could have been better. Um, yeah, I like the Step Brothers idea. It just I don't think it worked, to be quite honest with you. I think they missed an opportunity to get Kirko, Two Chains, and Mendoza on a boat, doing boats and hoes. If they would have done that and the Catalina wine mixer bit of it, 10 out of 10. 100% 10 out of 10. But they kind of went with just some, still iconic scenes from that movie, but I don't know. I was like, come on, man. Get a little weird with it. Get these guys. That also being on the boat with that song, Boat and Hose, could have gotten Kirko with his chains. It would have been perfect, man. It would have been hilarious. So, good concept, bad execution by them. Ha ha ha. T Pain and Lonely Island. I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat. Oh, dude, T Pain. That's a name I have not heard in a while, man. Lonely Island, dude. I so freaking funny, man. Those guys need to release more stuff, man. Um, the Minnesota one was solid. I was not expecting Chris Jericho as in a cameo there in that schedule release. Um, I thought the restaurant kind of thing was kind of funny. It was solid, and I do like that they kind of went in order as well. That I always like that when they go from week 1 to week 18. Like, you know, don't be jumping around. All right, first quarter is over. Spurs on top of the Timberwolves, 36-25. Sorry, 27. 36-27, 9-point lead for the Spurs. Forgot the Wolves just scored there. The Chargers, we mentioned it. It was the Halo one. Once again, I didn't like as much as I did the previous years their stuff, but I still love the way that they threw shade, man. Some of that stuff you do have to look up if you don't know right off the bat. But man, dude, the Chargers team, man, they're the creative team. They are a petty group, and they have receipts, man. They jot that stuff down. They are ready to go, and I respect it. I respect it, man. Unless you play jump around, jump around. Oh, dude, that reminds me, dude. I gotta upload some of the videos and pictures that I got from when I went to Camp Randall here in Wisconsin to the Badgers game. Man, jump around, dude. That's the song that plays just before the fourth quarter. Come on, pack it in. That's it. We'll begin. Let me see here. The Rams had a Napoleon Dynamite uh, theme one that was basically the intro to the Napoleon Dynamite movie. You know, with the tater tots and putting down the plates and things like that. That was pretty cool. That was pretty solid. Simple, but very effective. I like that one. The Eagles one was by far the longest. I think it was 14 minutes. And it was just, I'm assuming the captains, or at least some of the more prominent players of the Eagles. It was Barkley, Hurts, Mailata. Oh my God, I'm trying to think of Jordan Davis, and I forgot the fifth guy. But literally, they just brought those guys in, and they had a stack of envelopes labeled from week 1 to week 18, and then they just opened it up kind of like Oscar style. But then it was just kind of all 5 of those guys kind of shooting the stuff, if you will. It was by far the least kinetic. Like the cameras rarely moved. There was just 3 cameras, one in the center, one on the left, and one on the right. You know, pointing the opposite direction. And it was just 5 teammates just learning about the schedule, just kind of commenting, and you can tell it was not scripted, which is the part that I liked the most, because they were honest. They were like, oh wow, we're going overseas, but then we don't get a bye. He's like, oh, they're really trying to screw with us. He's like, oh, we got to play a Saturday, then a Thursday, then a Monday. He's like, wow. He's like, yeah. He's like, we must have made somebody mad. So like, they were being honest, man. Which once again, not the most creative, kind of probably the most flat of the releases and the longest by far. But I don't know. It was kind of a little bit of a peek behind the curtain of kind of what these guys probably sound like when they see the schedule. So interesting, simple. The Broncos one was okay. It was Peyton Manning and his what I'm assuming is his real daughter sitting on a couch, just like flipping through the channels, and each channel was kind of like basically the team that they're playing. It was a little bit of a theme. The Dolphins one was weird. It was a couple of players being told that they have to go up to meet Mr. Ross, and when they open the door, it's not the owner, it's Rick Ross, who just kind of like gives them like, "Hey man, we gotta you gotta do your thing, you gotta represent." He's like, "Oh yeah, man," and it was just kind of, I don't know. To me, it was just kind of like, I don't know. It didn't really hit for me. Like I like Rick Ross, but it just didn't hit. It was okay. Felt like they injected with an actual ad, so I didn't finish the Broncos one. Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. I think the even the Simpsons one, the Colts one, actually at the very end, it's a it says subscribe to to Disney Plus on the screen there at the end. I was like, oh, I was like, really? An ad for Disney Plus? I was like, I guess that probably was the one of the prices you had to pay to get to get the use of the Simpsons there. So, but yeah, I don't know. To me, it was a weird little like in the video plug for Disney Plus. I was like, all right. Furiously Google's Rick Ross. Rap, hip hop. Let me see here. What's the other one? I feel like we're getting towards the bottom here. Oh yeah, we talked about the Bills giant chrysalis. That was a weird one. Didn't completely hit. The Texans one, Brian Cushing just smashing his face into a helmet, and as the video progressed, and he's just yelling the schedule at us. He's getting more and more banged up and bloodier and all this other stuff. So I don't know. It was solid, but not great. I don't know. It just didn't land for me. So yeah, I noticed sponsorships is more this year. It's going to ruin them coming years when they blatantly inject sponsor content. Yeah, very true. Very true. Yeah, just like anything else, man. They gotta if they can make a buck, they will. Am I missing anything else here? The Commanders one was like a high school experiment kind of thing. So it was like trying to think of the it was like a Bill Nye type of like experimenting, just like simple stuff that you can do in high school. So it was it was solid. I like it. It wasn't one of my favorites. I think it was one of those that's just yeah, okay. At least they didn't use AI. I'll say that. They did all the high school experiments in camera. So I got to give them credit for that. It looks like they actually went to like a local high school too, because they were doing some of them in a clearly a high school gym. So hopefully that high school got a little kickback. A little bit of money for the kids for the kids. Hopefully it didn't go to the administrators. Yeah, I think that is it, man. I think we went through all of them. I think if I had to pick my top three favorites, it would have to be the Titans one. It was simple. It was funny. I laughed quite a bit. Um, After that, I gotta go with. Dang, what the heck? I'm gonna go with the Browns one, Street Fighter CLE, with the Matt Pat uh, intro slash hosting. I thought that was pretty cool. I think they did a really good job. That one, like I said, I feel like that one had the most post reduction work put into it. The '90s filter, along with like the wacky like camera movements of like very much like a '90s like cartoon commercial, like action hero, boom, boom, things like that, and a little bit of nostalgia. And they actually did make like the characters look like Street Fighter characters, like the Browns players that were fighting the other teams when they were introducing them. So you can tell that one took a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of passion. So, and it didn't look like they used AI. So there you go. Let me see. What was the final one? I'm gonna give you my final third one here. I will have to probably go. Man, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna give you two because it's gonna be a tie. I want to go with the PAX Robot Chicken. I love stop motion. I love that they actually got the team that did Robot Chicken. Plus, on top of that, they got the players to do a voiceover, and they got Grassi in there as well. Man, like one of our own here on YouTube was able to get in an NFL officially get into the NFL's one of their releases, man. So gotta give some love to that. And the other one that I'm gonna tie with it is gonna have to go with the Atlanta Falcons, the ESPN Office one, because I feel like I grew up watching those quite a bit. Like this is ESPN little skits, so gotta do that. Captain, how's Sleepy Dave? How dare you, sir? I'm awake. Actually, I'm getting a little tired. Actually, I might take a nap. I'm doing good, my man. Captain, how you doing? How you doing? Chicken, 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 brock, bok, bok. Captain, what'd you think of the Bills release schedule release video? The chrysalis concept. Did you like it, or let me know? All right, I'm gonna grab a water bottle. I'll be right back. 1 second. Guess who's back? Back again. Dave is back. Tell a friend. All right, man. Holy cripes. Dang, dude, the the Timberwolves are getting absolutely blasted in this second quarter. They have they have not scored a single point, and we are nearly 3.5 minutes into the second quarter. It was 36-27 coming into the second quarter. It is now 46-27. Dang. okay. Hold up. We got a little bit of something here with the NFL. The NFL is this is according to Stephen Holder from ESPN. The NFL is defending its expanded lineup of games on streaming platforms amid criticism from President Donald Trump and scrutiny from the U.S. Justice Department while discussing this week's release with reporters. NFL Executive Vice President of Media Distribution Hans Schroeder. We love our model. We have the most fan-friendly model there is of any sports on entertainment so far as distribution. The NFL airs 87% of its games on free broadcast networks, CBS, NBC, Fox, and ABC, according to league officials. But Schroeder argued that the league is actually meeting consumers where they are in an era of cord cutting by adding games on platforms such as Netflix. When we're going to Netflix, we're going to a platform that's already massively adopted and a huge number of viewers on the platform already, including huge numbers. Telling the measure, we've got people that one. As the league diversifies its platform on which games are airing, there will be again games this season on Netflix and Amazon Prime. It's subscribing to additional cost of watching NFL games. NFL has received criticism. Yeah, and like I said, this is something that I spoke about, I think, even yesterday, where like the everyday fan, like the average fan, I should say, not the everyday fan. The average fan, I feel, is less affected by this for the most part. Like I feel like a good majority of fans watch their team and then they watch some of the primetime games. But obviously, big NFL fans that love to watch as much football as possible, especially if you have like the red zone and things like that. You're not gonna be able to get that. You do need to buy a separate thing. Or if you're guys like you're a guy like me, like Tom, like Perna, who stream as many games as they possibly can on the channel, then yes, there's going to be an extra cost. So that 87% is misleading. You only get a few of the games each week, not all 87% that are sent to the CBS, Fox, and NBC. Very true. Yeah, and there's regional, obviously, like, yeah, like if you have Fox, you're only going to have the option of that game for that game slot. You would need to obviously have the NFL Game Pass to be able to get basically that 87%, but then you still need, Amazon, Netflix, things like that. Like, I understand where the NFL is, what they're saying, but the fact that they are still selling, first off, they're defending it because it's a way, not that they actually believe that this is better for the consumer. This is definitely something that they're trying to do. They're trying to argue that it is you're making a hill out of a mound, basically, stuff like that. It's I'm sorry, I completely messed up that saying, but you get what I'm saying. It's you're making a mountain out of a hill, so it's just it's one of those things where I get where the NFL is coming from. They want to make more money. They want to be able to grow, and also, that's just the way that a business in the way that they want to work it. But at the same time, you're being told by a good chunk of people that this is not what they want, and that's fine. In a sense that you still need to find ways to make these games available in a different way. Like I remember a couple of years ago when they went to Amazon Prime, you could actually still watch the game for free if you went to what the heck is it called? Twitch. Yeah, like they were broadcasting that for free, so you did not need to subscribe or have an account with Amazon to be able to watch that on Twitch. Like you got to find ways like that with Netflix. You got to make a deal with them because Netflix wants NFL games. The NFL could easily be like, yes, well, you can have NFL games, but you also have to have the option for people to watch a game for free without having to sign up for a free account, have to do all this. Just be able to click, go to the website, watch the game. I think if the NFL and Netflix did that, all of this would be blown over, to be quite honest with you. Mountain out of a molehill. Thank you. Thank you. Can you tell I don't use that phrase often? But yeah, man. Like I get it. Like we all know why the NFL is doing this is to make more money. It's the same reason why so many of these companies outside of like the NFL are, instead of trying to make a better product and sell it to people, they just fire departments and they reduce their wage, but then their profit continues to go up, even though they didn't necessarily do a better job of growing their their customer base or even making a better product. But because you're not paying X amount of people to work for you now, then you get to keep that money, and it looks like you made a bigger profit. That's all this is. This is kind of what the NFL is doing. They're keeping the same amount of games, and they're not really doing anything different. They're just selling it to a different person, different company that's willing to pay more per game than NBC, CBS, ABC. So, um, and to me, like the other thing too that you can do if you don't want, or if Netflix doesn't want to play a game, like, hey, yeah, we want them to sign up. We're not going to give them. We're not going to give this. We're not going to give them a free option. Then if you're the NFL, you got to give the fan something back when it comes to that game. You got to give them some type of behind the scenes access, some type of post game thing. Like you got to make it worth the fan being invested. If they can't watch the game or if they're unwilling to pay for it, you got to give them alternatives. And I don't know, man. I feel like that's where you could potentially, guys like Grossi that are doing an incredible job of covering NFL games, you can kind of give them maybe an official license, introduce them to do something with that. Maybe, I don't know. Like I'm just thinking like you can get Tom to, you know, like it doesn't have to be Tom. It could be it can be anybody, I guess. But I'm just trying to think of like what like the everyday fan is gonna want to potentially watch something that isn't just like a corporate sales pitch, basically. But you can get somebody like Tom, somebody that covers the NFL, does it on a consistent basis, has a connection with the everyday fan, and you can give him some access to the sidelines, to players, things like that, to kind of either during, before, after the game, whatever it is, to kind of be able to supplement some of that and kind of give back to the fan base that you're kind of putting a paywall in front of them, in a sense. But I don't know. And let's be honest though too. And this is something that like I can even go back. A lot of the like ESPN, they are owned by, you know, Disney. Disney owns ABC. They own, obviously, ESPN, who is in direct competition with Netflix, with Amazon, with these new streaming services that are kind of eating away at their NFL coverage, if you will. So none of these articles that you're seeing, or I shouldn't say all, and I'm not generalizing with all of them. I'm just saying these specific ones that are getting the most play. These are also ones that have a stake in the game, if you will. The reason ESPN is consistently writing articles like this is because that is something that if they can get the NFL to maybe back out of a deal with Netflix or to make it more difficult, it's a benefit to ESPN because now they can get that game potentially. So like none of this is, ESPN or whatever company is Fox. They're not writing these articles out of for altruism for the fan. Will you say? I think they're just hoping that they can get a piece of that pie, or continue to be able to take that pie away from Netflix and Amazon and probably get that game in the future. That's all that is. I feel like. So, but I don't know. To me, as long as fans can watch NFL games, uh, either at a reasonable price or for free, like how we get the quote unquote 87%. So I don't know. If the NFL actually did something for the fans, then it'd be the first time in a long time. It'd be the first time in a long time. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll say this: the cool thing that they did was last year. I did like that they gave guys like Tom, a bunch of other YouTubers, the opportunity to actually call a live game. That was really cool. That was amazing to see. Like if I wasn't doing this, I probably would have been one of the people that would have been watching Tom cover that Chargers game in week 1. I'm pretty sure that was the Chargers game. Um, but like I would have been one of those people because it would have been such a great concept to see somebody that was doing it on their own from the beginning, doing it old school, finally get a chance to almost get an official pass by the NFL, an official stamp of approval to cover an official NFL game with the picture and everything, the video and everything, the broadcast and everything. That's amazing. That's a massive step, and that was pretty cool to see. Um, I'm trying to think here, and you didn't have to have YouTube TV to actually get it. You just needed to go to YouTube. That's pretty cool. I wiped that game from my. Oh man. Yeah, the Chargers did well, man. Unfortunately that was an omen for the Chiefs season right there, man. As soon as that game was over, there was something in the air after Justin Herbert slid on that fourth down play or whatever it was. Yeah. Yeah, and I'll give the NFL credit for this as well. And like I said, I have zero problem criticizing the NFL because they have a lot of things that they do that should be criticized a lot more, in my opinion. But I'll say this: the WWE, what's WrestleMania? This is something that I learned because I was gonna do WrestleMania until I found out how expensive it is. Even just having a Netflix account, even though they have a deal with Netflix, and I think other parts of the country where it was being shown on Netflix, you still needed to pay an insane amount to buy that pay per view, an insane amount. I'm just like with the Netflix games, you just need to have the subscription. It could be the whatever base pay one, whatever it is, and you get the game. It's not a separate, like, hey, you need to have Netflix, but then you need to pay an extra $5 to get the game. It's all in one. So, you know, that is the one thing I'll give them credit for is that they didn't add on top of it, which maybe they shouldn't get credit for that, but it's something that you'd be surprised that the WWE model is very much, yeah, you're gonna pay for the subscription and then you have to pay for the pay per view on top of that. So I don't know. I guess I guess the standards are low at this point, but at least it's not as bad as it could be. And dude, the Spurs are just taking it. to the Timberwolves right now, man. We got a little over 4 minutes left in the first half, and it is 60-42. And Rudy Gobert missing a free shot, literally probably about 7 feet from the rim. No defender within like 5 feet of him, just completely whiffed on the floater. Yeah, don't give him any ideas. Sorry. I tried to give him some good ideas earlier there. Hopefully they listen to those too. Yeah. But don't worry, man. Like I said, if you guys don't want to pay for the Netflix stuff, don't worry about it. I will, and you guys can just watch me. And don't worry, I don't have ads every other kickoff on here. Charles Woodson Jr. has committed to play to the University of Michigan. He's a four-star defensive back from Orlando, Florida. Lake Nona, who is the son of former. There we go, man. There we go. We have a Netflix via Wives Work. Oh, hey. There we go. Heck yeah. Get those bundles, man. Gotta get those bundles. Yeah, the only reason I have most of my subscriptions is usually because like I usually get them during the holidays, you know, when they're like very, very cheap, extremely cheap. I am not paying full price. Ooh, 3-pointer by the Timberwolves right there, cutting down the deficit to just 12 now. Good move to the rim. Ooh, 2 points for the Spurs there, 67-47. I think I said cut the deficit down to 12. Cut it down to 18, sorry. Now it's back up to 20. Man, dude, my numbers have been terrible today, man. I feel like this is like the third time today that I've messed up on some numbers. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Yeah, so if the Spurs win tonight, man, they finish off the series here 4-2. Wembanyama missing his first free throw here. right, fellas. I'm trying to think here, man. I think so. We're gonna be going back next week. We're gonna be doing Friday. I'm gonna try to add another day as well. This time it won't be Thursday. It'll probably be a little bit earlier if we're able to do it. I'm trying to do at least either one Monday and a Friday or a Wednesday and a Friday. Um, at least every week. That way we can kind of continue to kind of just hang out. You know, one of those streams can be a little bit more segment oriented, and the other one could be a little bit more loose, a little bit more kind of just chilling and just vibing, as the kids say. But yeah, man. And on top of that, man, maybe we'll I don't know if I'll do a scoreboard because it's tough to keep up with the scores here in the NBA. But maybe we'll do a little bit of maybe a little kind of like similar to this, maybe a little bit more focused. Maybe we could do some. Maybe we'll do something with the finals, the NBA finals. Maybe I think it'll be a little bit more casual than the NFL games that I do. So let me know if you guys are interested in that, and we'll figure it out. Yeah, just because I don't know how the NFL is typically very forgiving when it comes to like covering their stuff and even like their use of logos. They're very forgiving. The NBA, I don't know how they are with their stuff, so that's why I also don't really want to do like a scoreboard. If I did do one, it would be very basic, and it would be, like I said, it would be kind of tough to kind of keep up with the scoring here and there. If you do NBA games, be blatantly biased. Absolutely. I can be like, all right, the Spurs hoping to smash the Timberwolves here on this next series. And the Timberwolves get the rebound by cheating. Liars. Liars. They go for a three. It doesn't go in because they can't score to save their lives. You talking about like that kind of play calling? Oh, Spurs for three. Oh, and it bounces out the rim. Holy cow, man. This pace is kinetic. They are literally chucking the ball halfway down the court. It's like they're just shot putting things down the field at this down the court here, man. Holy crap. And none of them have scored. It's been 5 possessions. They've been chucking the ball down the court, and neither time has been able to go in the rim. Perfect. Look at that. So song. Jim Bob just whiffs a shot. Expect that from a former Ohio poop player. That's good. That was a masterclass pass by the Bucks forward. There we go. Beautiful. Oh, we got an injured Spur. That is number 4 Fox heading into the locker room, favoring what looks like his left leg there. All right. Once we get to halftime, I'll probably sign off here. That way, you guys can finish off your Friday, getting ready for the weekend. But yeah, man, thank you for hanging out, man. Thank you for being here. Back to back nights, man. Your trash can, David, of course, my man. You were the man. Every day, every day. Seastrom, thank you for popping in here for a little bit, man. Hopefully, the school year is winding down well for you. And we got a It's FJ15 sighting, man. Appreciate you. Also coming with the answers on the Minecraft. I could not think of the freaking game or the movie. So thank you for coming in with that information, man. Because I was like, dude, I know the freaking. I was like, Roblox. I was like, no. But like I said, never played Minecraft in my life, so it's not really stuck in my brain. Wembenyama trying to get to the rim, and he is going to be, looks like he's going to be fouled on the play, potentially. Oh, actually, no. There was a clean strip of the ball. Timberwolves back on the ball. They're going to be at the top of the key. Gets there, and it's denied by Wembenyama. Pushed down the court, and another miss. But this one, I believe, is finally going to be called. And there's a foul there. It looks like the Spurs are going to get a chance to add some points here before the half ends. Yeah, there you go, man. Wembenyama slapping that one against the glass to deny the points. "32 seconds left. Spurs on top right now with that with the first make on the free throws. It is 70-56. So Timberwolves have been doing a decent job of kind of whittling this deficit just a little bit down. They were down at one point, I believe, by 21 in the second quarter. It is now 71-56. Jump back, hits it, bang! Timberwolves with a nice little 2 there. Clock is running, 21 seconds. And it looks like the Spurs are going to keep the ball here as long as they can. Slow down, try to just get the final points of the second quarter. Pops it out, throws it. Corner, left, and it's a hit. Number 30 there with 5.4 seconds left. Timberwolves trying to push it down the court. Throws it up, and is that a foul, or is that going to be a Spurs ball here? Whistle blew, and the foul is called. So yeah, it looks like number 5, Castle, got a hold of one of the Timberwolves player, Edwards' wrist there while he was dribbling. So foul. All right, we got 1.5 seconds, and Edwards is going to be going to the free throw line here. That wasn't a foul. Lame. Yeah, I'm surprised that he didn't, because you can challenge calls like that in the NBA from what I know. So I'm just surprised. I was like, challenge him, man. Like, it's not really gonna be anything crazy. And the second one misses, but they get the offensive rebound and put it back. And there are 3 points right there, man. Wow, it's a heads-up play right there. Great offensive rebound by the big man there. All right. It's a 13-point lead for the Spurs at the end of the first half. They were looking good, man. Like, I think it was like 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left. They were up by 21. But the Timberwolves, they're able to chip away at that deficit and bring it down to just 13. All right, man. And look at that, dude. Perfectly ends at 10 o'clock, so right on, man. So if you guys get a chance to watch the rest of this game, please do, man. It's going to be a fun one. Hopefully the Timberwolves can make it close here, you know. Like if they're gonna go home and if they're gonna be eliminated, make it close, man. Give us a show. All right, don't just go down easy. All right, give your fans something not to worry about, but to cheer for. All right. So, all right, guys, enjoy the game. Enjoy your weekend. I will catch you guys again next week. Thank you once again to David Stegosaurus, to Seastrom, always showing up for me, man. I appreciate you guys. I will catch you guys next week, man. So once again, my name is Dave, and I'm not a coach. Thank you.